Ready?
Yes. No nose hairs?
I see one, actually.
There's a nose hair?
Right there.
Is
Go
that
away.
Is that a nose hair or is that a...
It's hairs in your nose. Like,
Oh, okay.
but I got it. It's gone. You're good. All right. Hair...
Swarthy man. I'm a swarthy man.
Hey everyone, it's me, Hallease, endeavoring to persevere. We have Mr. Hallease back.
Hello.
So one of the Patreon producers, Nikki Page, asked this on the Patreon page to talk about this with Mr. Hallease. How about discussing this new wave of role reversal? For example, one of the hot topics lately has been women asking their boyfriends to marry them and more men staying home while the woman works outside the house. There seems to be a shift in society as it pertains to roles. It would be interesting to get both of your views on it. We're gonna try. Y'all be giving us these hard topics that cannot be covered in one video, but we are going to try.
Yeah.
Yet again.
So how do we tackle that? Okay,
Yeah.
so, like, what are the roles that we play in marriage? And so, like, okay, so just addressing the question in general.
Yeah.
I don't, like, speaking for myself, I don't care about gender roles. Like, if somebody else is breaking, the roles and someone's proposing to somebody else, or someone's, the woman in the relationship is earning more money, or she's...
All right, we're talking obviously from the heterosexual...
Right.
Cisgendered perspective here.
But yeah, so like the traditional roles, if someone wants to flip that, more power to you. I don't care. And that's all well and good. What do you think?
So getting into it, like, my father didn't have any sons.
Yep.
And I was pretty much, of the two, of me and my sister, I'm the one that was, I would think, the closest to what he would probably have wanted in a son. I would work on cars with him, and I sort of followed him around, and I was like sort of his little underling. And then also, even though I look a lot like my mother, my mannerisms and my general tone is a lot like my father. I'm very straightforward. I'm borderline a little bit blunt sometimes. Traits that I think sort of are naturally...
Can be perceived as masculine.
Masculine traits, yeah. So for me, I've always kind of like felt a little at odds with general roles around femininity, because when I think about who I am, regardless of gender, I don't really think of myself as very feminine.
I don't really consider myself to be like overtly masculine. And some of your family has, he's cooking, and, he cooks and he does this. And even your mom, she'll explain to people like, oh yeah, Chris cooked dinner for us tonight. And they'll say, oh, why is he doing that? Or, whatever. And it's like, I don't mind cooking, but the thing between us is that it needs to get done. And I don't want to spend a whole ton of money going out. So I make food.
Yeah.
And she... I guess you could also toss this into a gendered norm. Mm-hmm. Doesn't care what she eats. So she could just eat the same thing over and over and over again for days.
Like, you just value it in general more than I do.
Right, and so I put more effort into making that happen.
Yeah, because for me, when I was in college, I would, like, buy a whole bunch of, like, chicken thighs or something like that on Sunday and bake all of them with a side and a starch and a whole balanced meal, and then I would eat that every day for dinner until like Thursday. So I'd only have to cook 2 times a week, so that way I can have time to do other things. Like, I'm very much about streamlining things that get in the way from doing things I actually want to do but still need to get done.
But as far as chores...
So yeah, as far as chores go, I definitely fall into that, what I think is the norm, where it's understood that most women do most of the cleaning. For me, the threshold of mess is very low before it literally hinders me from like creatively doing what I need to do, because the space is too chaotic. So I'm just like, clean it up.
And not in a good way.
And not
shirts like linked to the shirt.
Whereas your threshold for mess is quite high before you finally are like, I should handle this to some degree.
Which is, a very, like, home improvement, 90s sitcom-y, like, oh, the man doesn't...
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But for us, and maybe this is the beauty of time in a relationship, that now we, instead of focusing more on the roles that we're supposed to play, we focus on the roles that we play well.
Right. Like a question that I found online that was very interesting and possibly very polarizing is, so who's in charge?
I grew up around my mom and dad I feel like my dad had more of this like feminist sort of mindset when raising me, like you don't need a man and like do this yourself, all this kind of stuff.
Yeah, you say feminist, I wouldn't think your dad to be...
but just more like independent minded ideas, right? But then I found that once I got married, he sort of like pulled back on that a lot and was like, well, now you're married, so yeah, I don't feel like there's anyone who's the head of our household, so to say. I am not the type of woman that wants to be led either. I think that's worth mentioning. Mm-hmm. There's this idea of like the man's supposed to lead and all that, and I always kind of figured, well, if that's the case, then I'm not getting married because I don't want nobody leading me.
Right. Well, I mean, no one's infallible. Like, no one's going to make the best decisions all the time.
Yeah.
And so you need to be able to recognize that and shift it to the other person. So what do you think? What do you think we should do?
Right.
I don't lead the relationship. And that's not because, like, there's not a big focus on religion. What if the man doesn't know what to do? Then you do nothing.
Yeah. I also feel like that's a lot of pressure. I feel like that's a lot of unnecessary pressure on men in relationships, Maybe that's just me, but I just feel like your overall happiness will be a lot better if you have someone that you can bounce ideas off of. Because I feel like at the end of the day, we're both individual people, right? I feel like, and this will get into the next thing I want to talk about, my role in your life as your wife is to help you be the best version of yourself you can be. In regards to the two of us together, and also just separately on your own, like what do you want to accomplish out of your life? And I feel like vice versa, it's the same thing. Like you make me a better version of myself, And so when you get into and so when you get into like, well, who's leading us, it's automatically belittling a party, which I just don't think is the right way to approach a partnership, because then it's not a partnership, it's some kind of dictatorship. I don't know. This kind of leads into my next thing though, like getting into, because I know that she's the producer was talking in terms of like gender roles, right? So when you were deciding to marry me, like what were you envisioning my role to be in your life?
Right. I just wanted I wanted what we have. I guess, no, in hindsight, like I can say that in hindsight. But,
yeah.
No, so remember that we weren't even going to get married. We thought, marriage was just like this.
That was actually more you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that was you.
Okay, well, there you go. I didn't necessarily want to get married. I felt like we had the relationship that we had already. We didn't need the title. We didn't need the officiating. We didn't need some like stamp of approval. But I didn't expect you to do the traditional, it was like stay home and keep the house, or do most of the housekeeping, or do whatever.
Yeah.
Like that wasn't really the expectation. The expectation that I had was that I wanted to make sure that you loved me in the same way that I loved you, and that we would be part of something greater than ourselves, than individually. Than the equal parts, the sum of our equal parts.
Yeah. I can comfortably say now, in hindsight, that I definitely came into the marriage with expectations. I came into it more from, and I think a lot of it had to do with the media portrayal of like what love is, which is something that just like happens to you rather than a conscious decision that you make, like a verb. And so even though in my front mind I knew that wasn't what love was, like once you get into a marriage and then are doing it day to day and are like, oh dang, I am really staying here, I am choosing to stay here, you know what I mean? That was just very eye-opening for me. And then also trying to separate what I wanted out of life from you, and not project a lot of like insecurity or regret or like, yeah, onto you, that was something I definitely had to unlearn for myself.
But I also projected onto you that, you know, it was going to be very touchy-feely, and I was like, how was I going to be able to affirm that you loved me?
Yeah.
And it was going to be, you know, the hand-holding, the touching, the body language. And it's like, oh no, she's not into the hand-holding, or she's not into, you know, being in close proximity to me, then maybe she doesn't love me as much. And so, yeah, like over time, no, she's just very focused on things, and then if she's not thinking about it, she's just not gonna
I'm just not gonna do it. Yeah. And yeah, so like in that regard, when we were dating, like he would go to hold my hand or something, I'd be like, that's kind of annoying because now I can't speak the way I want to speak. Or I would come over and you would like go in to kiss me, and I'd be like just trying to come into the apartment, you know, and then you'd be like, come, oh, okay, all right. And so for a while he thought that I just didn't care, or I didn't actually like him that much.
Yep.
But to me, I was like, I'm showing up. Like, you called me to come over and I'm here. You know what I'm saying? Like, hello. You know?
Love language?
Love languages, yeah, definitely.
The thing that I don't know about. Yay.
But then now it's like, I got used to it too. And so now it's like, if we're walking down the street and you aren't holding my hand, I actually do wonder like, oh, are you okay? Is something on your mind?
You manifest into a different thing than what you did at the beginning.
That's very true. Yes. I feel like I'm a lot nicer now, and a lot of that is because of you. I'm not that nice, y'all. I'm not that nice. Stop.
So the question becomes whether or not, in order to role reverse or subvert gendered norms, is that a conscious or an unconscious thing?
Right. I don't know if I was consciously ever trying to subvert or like be very role reversally, like very conscious in my decision to do it. It was more just like, this is who I am. You gotta just roll with me, man. Like, you know? And then also, I think I definitely make a conscious effort to not listen to like the elders in my family and like the comments that they'll say, or even just like your family too, the comments they'll mention about just what your role should be as my husband and what my role should be as your wife.
Right.
I try to focus on, okay, I'm not married to y'all, I'm married to him. So if it is a problem, he will let me know. You don't need to be the person to let me know that.
And if she would have proposed to me, I mean, I would have said yes. The only reason I did so was to let you know, to affirm that I was here for you. You're going to LA. I'm staying here in San Antonio. But when your program is done, please come back.
Yeah. And I know for that, I completely understood like your reasoning for proposing when you did. I think, and I know you weren't trying to, I guess, like, capture me.
Yeah, I wasn't trying to nail you down or
Yeah.
keep you from leaving.
For me, coming to terms with just being so young, because we got married when I was very young, especially by today's standards. Like, we first met when I was 19, and we were married by the time, literally the week after I turned 21, we were married. So, yeah, I was really young, and with the power of hindsight, I think for me, the big thing was just like, there are things that you're just going to experience differently as a single person than you are as a married person. That being said, for me, it's more just like, dang, I found the right person very young. So that's not a bad thing, you know? It's just a thing. So I often wonder how much that colored how I saw LA differently.
I mean, it's kind of going along with the same maturation in society where there aren't hard and fast divisions in gender like there are in sex, or that they are in, you know, it's more of a liberal mindset now. So it's not just, there's male and female roles. Now there's just relationship roles, or there's, you know, working roles. And so we're all kind of evolving as time goes on, and as modern thinking just, you know, progresses. So
hopefully always forward, although sometimes I think that's a notion that people think, is that progression is always forward, but that's not necessarily the case.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to work in the traditionally like feminine roles and you're happy about it, then cool.
There you go. Be happy in it.
But if you feel like you are being trapped or that you are in an unhealthy relationship, first off, please reach out to somebody because there is a safe space for you. But yeah, I mean, don't let society determine what you are capable of.
Right. Yeah.
So if you don't want to do laundry, then don't do laundry. But know that if you're in a relationship, it needs to be balanced.
Right.
So you'll be taking out the trash and or cooking or doing other things that you don't want to do, like yard work.
Something else that we didn't fall into when we were dating was the idea that he paid for everything. I usually would just pay for myself when we went out to eat or went to the movies or anything like that, because I had a good job at the time and I was home for the summer living with my parents, so I didn't pay rent or anything like that. Like, my cost of living was very low. And again, for me, the big thing was I wanted you to realize that I wasn't coming to spend time with you to get a free meal or to see a free movie. I was coming to spend time with you because I like spending time with you.
Yeah.
I don't really like this idea of men having to pay for everything in cisgender norm relationships or whatever, because then it's automatically setting the groundwork of, like, the woman can be bought to a degree, and I don't like that,
Yeah.
Unless that's what you're going for. If you're like ring before spring and you're trying to be in a relationship where, your ultimate goal is to be taken care of, then setting standards around dating in that way makes sense, because at the end of the day, relationships are a transaction to a degree.
It's a business, yeah.
Yeah, relationships are a business. But yeah, I knew that I didn't want that kind of business for my marriage. So for me, it was more just about, I want a partner, and I want you to automatically always see me as your equal, so I will pay for myself. I never really wanted to be taken care of. That wasn't my goal with having a relationship.
Yeah.
Which is also why I probably wasn't approached by a lot of guys as well, because I didn't have that vulnerability.
I just wanted to feel loved.
Oh. I love you, Christopher. I love you.
I didn't know you do. It's like, oh, I feel love with her. Yay!
Yay!
Hit the notification icon. It's not a bell.
Notification icon?
It's a notification icon. People say the bell thing. No.
It's not a bell.
It sounds dumb.
Oh,
I'm sorry. That's judgmental.
If you enjoy watching this content, consider subscribing to the channel if
Please.
The spirit moves you. If you want to know every time a video comes out, they are usually on the weekends, Fridays, and Sundays.
Typically.
Hit the notification icon. And then thank you to Patreon producer Nikki for giving us the idea for this video. If you're interested in becoming a producer of the channel, where you can give us more ideas about what types of topics we can discuss on here, head over to the Patreon page, patreon.com/Hallease. It is because of y'all that I can say, I'll see you on Friday. Unless this video comes on Friday, then I'll see you on Sunday? No, unless this video comes on Sunday, then I'll see you on Sunday. I don't know, but I'll see you on Friday or Sunday. The end screen will be appropriate.
Bye.